supply, and then the consumer surplus, producer surplus, elasticity. These are things from a customer standpoint and a seller standpoint. Now, when I look at one single firm versus the market, there are two chapters. One is a single firm. How do I look at the demand and supply from a firm standpoint versus the entire market standpoint? These are the two important chapters that we are going to deal with. So, when we are looking at the firm, in economics, we have to discuss about two types of profits. When we talk about FRA or when we talk about the finance side, we always talk about profit means an accounting profit, which is net income, profit after tax. But when we talk about, which is nothing but total revenues minus the total expenses. That is what we call as a profit in our FRAs and other subjects also. But when it comes to economics, we use a word called economic profit, which is nothing but whatever the accounting profit you have got minus the opportunity costs. Opportunity costs, or probably we call them as implicit costs. A better way to explain it is, let's say, okay, we have done a business, our revenues, total revenues, we got some $1,000. The expenses that are really incurred, let's say they are some $600. So as per accounting, 400 is our profit. That 400 we call as accounting profit. Now, when I bring in the economic aspect, okay, we have done a business for one full year, right, and got some 400 as a profit, or probably 40% as the profit. Out of 1,000, 600 we have are our costs, so 40% is our accounting profit. Now, if it is the case like, okay, if I had worked elsewhere instead of running this business, if I had worked elsewhere, I could have got 300 rupees as a salary, 300 bucks as a salary. Then that is what is my opportunity cost, because I have foregone that particular salary and I have run this business. So my accounting profit, though it is 400, my economic profit is only 100, which is nothing but accounting profit minus the opportunity cost. Right? So that's where we say, whenever we define the economic profit, apart from the accounting or explicit costs, we also deal with implicit costs. Implicit cost generally is like an opportunity cost, right? Whatever is the opportunity cost. See, am I getting more than the opportunity cost? Let's say I'm running this business, I got a profit of 25 lakhs. But if I work in a job, let's say I will get 30 lakhs, which means I am actually at a loss by running this business. Though accounting wise, I am at a profit of a 25 lakhs, but looking at my potential, I could have got 30 lakhs when I am doing something else. That is what is my opportunity cost there. I have foregone that 30 lakhs by running this business. So my economic profit there is minus 5 lakhs. Means I am at an economic loss. Though accounting wise there is a profit, but from an economic profit standpoint, it's a loss for me. That's the important difference between the two. So whenever we talk about the economic profit, we use this definition. Only up to here, it is accounting profit minus the implicit cost, which is generally the opportunity cost. So if at all the economic profit is positive, then only it will increase the value of the firm or increase the value of the equity. Because yes, as per cost of equity, let's say some it has to generate some 10%. The required rate of return is 10%. Only if it generates 10% profit, there is no increase in the value of the firm. If it generates 15% profit, means exceeding the expectations, that would result in increase in the total value. And on the other side, if it generates only 8%, it has decreased the expectation, means economic profit is negative, so it will decrease the value of the firm. The reason why I am stressing on this concept is, in a lot of cases in this chapter and the next few chapters, we would be using the word saying the economic profit is zero. Right? In a perfect competitive, I am making one statement, in a perfect competitive market, the economic profits are zero. It doesn't mean profit is zero. Right? You will get some normal profit, you will get some accounting profit, but that accounting profit, if I remove the implicit opportunity cost, if I subtract the opportunity cost from it, it becomes zero. Means my accounting profit is same as my opportunity cost. I cannot get anything more than my opportunity cost when my economic profit is zero. This relationship you have to get a very good clarity on. So that is what is called as my normal profit. The accounting profit, where the economic profit is equal to zero, is what we call as normal profit. So here in economics we use the words called normal profit and supernormal profit. Normal profit means where the economic profit is zero. Means accounting profit is equal to implicit costs. Implicit opportunity costs.
Anything above the implicit cost is supernormal.
Is the supernormal. So what we will sometimes say is it's not possible to make supernormal profits in a perfect competitive market. Everyone will make only normal profits. Means yes, everyone will get some 10% profit. But it's same as the opportunity cost. Right? Probably in some cases that opportunity cost will even go as a risk-free rate of return. So I cannot make anything more than the risk-free rate of return. So I will get some 8%, 10%, but nothing more than that. Right? So normal profit, so whenever we are using the word as economic profit is zero, it doesn't mean that the profit is zero. Right? Profit is equal to the accounting normal profit, where accounting profit is equal to the implicit opportunity cost. Here we define two words: economic rent. Economic rent is nothing but economic profit, wherein we find the difference between the earnings, the actual profit, and the opportunity cost. That is what we call as though economic profit, or sometimes we use the word economic rent. And depending on how the supply curve is, in some cases the economic rent is very, very high, and in some cases there is no economic rent also. Just let's understand one. When the supply curve is perfectly elastic. What do we mean by elastic? Percentage change in quantity. The definition of elasticity: percentage change in quantity by percentage change in price. Perfectly elastic means a small change in price impacts the change in quantity drastically. That is what we call as perfectly elastic. Means what is how is this one? A small change in price impacting the quantity quite drastically, which means it's a horizontal supply curve. Quantity changes drastically. If we see this graph, almost horizontal. A small change in price changes the quantity quite drastically. Right? Almost. So when I say perfectly elastic, it means perfectly horizontal kind of stuff. What do we see there? So there is no way I can get economic profit there. Correct? There is no way I can get economic profit, because if I slightly increase the price a little bit, someone else is gaining my business. There is no way I can make any economic profit in that kind of supply curve. When the supply curve is perfectly horizontal, or when the supply curve is perfectly elastic, nothing is economic rent. Everything is opportunity cost. No economic profit. But when the supply curve is perfectly vertical, means whatever may be the price, the quantity is more or less constant, where the elasticity coefficient is 0. The perfectly vertical kind of stuff, everything is economic profit only. There is no opportunity cost in that process. So that is where we have to understand these two things. Right, depending on if the supply curve is perfectly horizontal like this, right? If the supply curve is perfectly horizontal, whatever we are seeing, there is no economic rent. Means no economic profit. Whatever it is the opportunity cost itself. Entire thing is the opportunity cost itself. Whereas when we are seeing a perfectly inelastic supply curve, whatever it is the economic rent itself or economic profit itself, and there is no opportunity cost. And if the supply curve is anywhere in the middle, some portion of it is the economic profit and some portion of it goes to the opportunity cost. Now here we get into the next concept, wherein we deal with the different definitions of revenues. Different definitions of revenues, like total revenue, average revenue, marginal revenue. These are the different forms of revenues that we look at. Similarly, we will look at different forms of costs also. Total cost, marginal cost, average cost. Because what we are more interested in seeing is, in different kinds of markets, what could be the relationships between the revenues? How would the graphs for average revenue, marginal revenue, all these things differ in different kinds of markets? So before that, we need to understand these definitions. So when we are talking of total revenue, we know that it is nothing but the total price into the total quantities that are sold. The average price, or the price, if it is a uniformly priced product, price into the quantity sold is what we are calling as the total revenue. And in that case, the average revenue is equal to price. If all of them are sold at the same price, then average revenue also is equal to price. And when we use the word marginal revenue, it means the price, whatever is the revenue you are getting for selling the next product. One extra product, one extra item you are selling, what is the revenue you are getting out of it? So for example, you say, okay, the first product, I am getting a revenue